They used to use, negative stereotypes against, black players. The standard stereotypes of the 70s and 80s. Much more Asians in like youth academies now. And I think without getting into the academies, you can't make it into mainstream football now. I will ask you a question: how many Asian players have you seen play? Like, it's like there's an Asian player. You'd be surprised to see one. If you put in the work and show good kind of character and determination, you will get somewhere.
I would love for you to tell everyone who's going to watch this episode why they should listen to not only your story, but Sporting Bengal's story.
Firstly, thanks for having us on, Fabrice. Why is it important to listen to our story? Well, I guess it's you're listening to our side of the story. So Sporting Bengal kind of, we're been established to promote the Asian footballers into mainstream. So I guess it's important as a society, especially in footballing society, to hear everyone's story. And we kind of, I wouldn't say we carry the Asian banner, because kind of our players and our history has always been mixed. But definitely it's one of the kind of main objectives of Sporting Bengal, is to try to get us Asians into mainstream football, which is something that, everyone's struggling across the board. Hardly any Asian players in the Premier League, or for that, to be honest, even further down the leagues, up until even grassroots, step 4, step 5, not many Asian players playing. So it's definitely important, because it's telling our story from our perspective. My name is Said. I'm the assistant manager for Sporting Bengal Vets, also part of the general main team organisation. I'm like the assistant secretary, also the secretary for the reserve. So they're generally involved with grassroots Sporting Bengal. Play a small part in it. There's like a whole committee and other volunteers. But yeah, that's my small contribution to the cause, but as it were.
Amazing. And again, Sporting Bengal are right now the current holders of the London Vets
Yes.
Cup. Again, congratulations.
Thank you.
And my first question to you is how do you think the team's victory in that competition has influenced the perception of South Asians or Bengali footballers in the kind of broader football community?
It's difficult to tell, to be honest, because obviously this is the London Cup tournament, and I think the teams involved with the cup, I would say most maybe heard of Sporting Bengal, and a lot of the players that we've come up against, or some other teams, they probably know us. But hopefully it's had a positive influence and kind of shown that we can compete with the best in London. And I said, our team is not completely Asian, but I would say 90% of the team is Asian. So I hope it's had a good effect on other teams, and teams won't take us lightly. Not that they did. I think we got respect with, everyone who played us gave us that respect and knew we could play football. And even after last season, where the previous season, where we gave LSU a really good game, and they're one of the favourites, and they're a very good team. I think they gave us the props and kudos that we really run them close. I think they got to the final that year, or did they go semis? I can't remember, but
maybe
I know they won the
final.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I think our results and the type of football we played definitely would have a good positive outlook on our team.
And again, there's a stereotype regarding Asian footballers, that they are small and they're slight and literally they can't withstand the physical demands of football. Where do you think that stereotype has come from?
As it is a stereotype, it doesn't mean it's true. Asians maybe, the stature might not be as kind of taller or big as the our white or black counterparts or colleagues, however you want to put it. But I think it's a bit of a negative stereotype. Or it's that they used to use negative stereotypes against black players. The standard stereotypes of the 70s and 80s. And well, some of it might be true. I'm not talking about the negative. Obviously, an Asian may not be as tall as a 6'4", European player. But not everyone's the same, and there's different builds, and depending on where they play, like our centre backs are quite tall, our wing is a bit shorter. I think it's a bit of a trope, or a lazy stereotype, and I think it's used historically, maybe not now, as an excuse of Asians why they can't play football. Are they too small? But if you look at it, all the best players are small. Maradona, Messi, we could go on like, even modern times, all the best players, the Spanish players of recent years, the tiki-taka. Ultimately, it's not the size, as we know. It's the fight in you and your technique and temperament. I think these are more important than the actual build, because the best players are under 5'10". The most technical players, I would say.
Yeah, very true. And you could have mentioned that your kind of team has a kind of literally mix of cultures and traditions, and literally how has that different backgrounds of players, cultures, and traditions shaped the way that you approach every single game, and also teamwork with within the compounds of Sporting Bengal?
Yeah, as I said, traditionally, even though we are like a Bengali team, as it were, but we've always had, even the main team, there's always been a mix of players. It's generally the local community, so East London, Tower Hamlets, Hackney, Newham. So, obviously those communities are made up of diverse cultures, races, whatever. So it's always been a mix. In terms of how it kind of transpires in our football, it works out really well, because every background contributes a different skill. For us at Sporting Bengal, it works perfectly because there's that cohesion, and also our players, kind of talking about the vets in particular, they've played together or against each other for 20 odd years or whatever. So it works really well for us, to be honest.
And we spoke briefly off air regarding how Sporting Bengal only enter cup competitions and not in a league. Could you tell me why you guys came to that decision?
To be honest, it's always been difficult for us to kind of mount a sustained campaign in a league. It's just availability, commitment. I've got to be honest, commitment to play. It's never been there. I think our vets team's going about 10 years now, and to be honest, I think there's been discussions, but we've kind of made a decision that instead of kind of petering it out and struggling in the league, we'll use it kind of like like the old boys team, where previous players of the main team, which kind of they compete in this Essex Senior League at the moment. So whoever's played for us, or even the local community is a good player, they'll just kind of take part in tournaments and exhibitions. It's kind of a survival technique for us. Because I think a long campaign, and we were just discussing the weather, and my previous experience as a Sunday League manager, it would be a real difficulty getting players. And to be honest, our players come from quite different areas. We're not just based in East London. For our team, we've got people come from Luton, South London, North London. So it's actually logistics might be a bit difficult for us as well.
Mm-hmm.
Not that the players are lazy and not committed.
But I mean, it must be quite well. I don't know. I mean, challenging, especially in the latter stages of a cup competition. Who's available and literally who's going to start that particular game? I mean, literally, what was the hardest decision for you in the final? And literally, how did you rotate players and literally keep everyone happy?
The gaffer, who's Shafik Islam, is like a well-known manager in East London. He had the main hard task of kind of keeping everyone. But ultimately, you can't keep everyone happy, especially when choosing a kind of limited squad for the final. And to be honest, there were a few upset people initially, as you'd expect, because everyone kind of contributed. But he chose the best team, and ultimately his decisions and the decisions we made kind of worked. There's definitely a disadvantage with not having a league side because the teams we're up against are kind of like well drilled and they're used to playing 11-a-side, whereas our players, majority of them play 7-a-side football now. So it's a bit of a jump. So if you see any of our games, first 5-10 minutes we're playing 5-a-side football, and then the muscle memory kicks in and they start. Oh yeah, we used to play 11-a-side, and they start playing 11-a-side football.
I mean, because what I heard from like one of the spectators that you also substituted the goalkeeper.
Our goalkeepers are kind of really strong. We've got a good kind of a good few goalkeepers, and he made that decision because our opposition started going a bit longer. And so the player who came on, Shamim was like a very successful goalkeeper. He used to play for our Step 5 team as well. He's actually better at crosses, and he's a bit more experienced. Even though he's a bit more experienced. I think he's 45, 47, but he used to play at a good level. So he's actually a good substitution. Now, our keeper who went off, he's also he kept he's had a great campaign, Abdul Hussein. So he's had some great games, but I think as I said, it was a tough call by the manager, and it came, it worked out in the end.
How literally do you build such a strong team unity when again you're only playing cup matches and probably a few of your players are playing 5-a-side and 7-a-side and literally, especially when again like the kind of South Asian community isn't really highlighted within like the sporting industry.
Yeah, see, that's a good question. To be honest, that's one of our strengths is the unity. It's like a real brotherhood, like not just the South Asian, all our players, brotherhood, where they've been playing together or against. So a lot of they play against each other, but kind of the ethos of Sporting Bengal is to get all our best players together and kind of try to win something because you're better as when there's unity, isn't there? So they've been playing against each other and with each other for a number of years, and it's a small community. We all know each other. We even if you come on a Thursday, there's a 7-a-side vets league. There's like 5 divisions, I believe, and our players are playing for different teams. So we all get together, we see each other. It's great camaraderie and banter and genuine brotherhood there. So even on a Thursday, they might be trying to kick the lumps out of each other. They've previously played for Sporting Bengal, whether it's part of the main team or the teams that toured or have gone to Glasgow for the UK Championships. So they all respect and love each other in that sense. There's a lot of love in the squad. It's really, I would say that's the most outstanding thing about our squad. They're all very technical, but it's the unity and the brotherhood that we've got. And without that, I don't think we'd have won last season's cup.
And like talking about again, I just want to just say again, you guys are the London Vets holders, and literally your name will be forever on that trophy. How did it feel when the final whistle blew? Like, did you actually realize exactly what your team have actually done?
Yeah, it's got a good ring to it. To be honest, it's as I said, the team, they've been competing for about 10 years, and the closest we've got was some of the older brothers. They reached the semi-finals 2017, and to be honest, we've come up. I've come to see a few of the games, and it's been very competitive. But this group of players, I would say, is a very talented group who've played for Sporting Bengal and just generally in the community. They're quite a talented group, and they were most likely, in terms of the overall squad, the previous squads, they wasn't as strong because the disparity in ages, but this squad is kind of like a similar age group and they're kind of fresh. Well, as fresh as you can be at 35. But most of our players are 35 to 40. Although we do have a couple of 50-year-olds playing, which I need to mention, which is Helal Bai and Habib Bai. They're like legends. They've been playing for years and they're still competing at 50 plus. But generally, I mean, how it felt. It was an amazing thing because we had a lot of good support. A lot of the old legends turned up, and it was honestly it was a magical feeling for all of us. And it was a beautiful day. It was a local game, so I think we had the lion's share of the support. And when the final whistle blew, it was just like we were just elated to be honest. Also a relief because once we, as we progressed through the rounds, we thought yes we could do it. We've got the squad. You know, despite players missing here and there, we've always managed to cover it. And we got to the final. I think we were in a perfect moment for us actually in terms of squad fitness, and I don't think we would have been denied that day. Whatever happened, we would have got through.
Love that. And you know what, we like, you know, again briefly spoke off air, and actually let's you know, I'm not afraid to say it. I think the London FA have missed a trick here.
Mm.
Sporting Bengal are representing South Asian footballers, and actually winning such a prestige competition.
It's like a
London
mainstream competition. It's like a yeah. To be honest, we've been the club, and I'm sure there's other clubs as well, like who've been doing it. Like you know, there's London APSA, and there's a lot of like Indian teams as well who've been kind of pushing the kind of South Asian football into the mainstream. So we've been doing it for years. And with regards to like mainstream organisations of FA, London FA, I don't know. How can I say? I don't know how much they have influence they have to, you know, kind of contribute to getting South Asians. And you know, there's always schemes coming through. To be honest, I'm not too aware of it, but there's always like you know, kick it out schemes and Asians in football schemes, and they seem to come and go. Doesn't seem to be a lasting kind of a legacy or any kind of breakthrough. Although in saying that, I know there's much more Asians in like youth academies now, and I think without getting into the academies, you can't make it into mainstream football now, or very rarely. You only hear like once in a blue moon where someone's moved through the like non-league, you know, the pyramid. But it can be done, but I think with that being in the mainstream, it's impossible. And how these organizations can contribute to it, I don't have the knowledge or expertise that London FA, VFA, and all these organizations. I'm sure they could do more. But yeah, as you said, I think your question is like, you know, are they doing enough, or you know, are they recognizing what organizations such as what you know, Sporting Bengal, Sporting Foundation, what we're doing, and how we're contributing to you know Asians getting into mainstream football.
Mm. I'm like with that belief that if you see it, you can be it. And you know, again, this like should be spread all around the London, you know, areas, north, south, east, east, west. You know, the London FA, the FA, like the mainstream media should be looking at Sporting Bengal as a literally an example in terms of, you know, what South Asian footballers can do, and like, you know, you know, I would say when it kind of comes to unity, you know, you've like just won an amazing competition. I can imagine the community and you know, and the happiness and the joy and the kind of passion, you know, that, you know, literally that like probably lasted like a couple of weeks. You know what I'm saying? It's, you know, and literally this is literally what football is about. And literally we all talk about inclusion, you know, diversity, and exactly what you said. You know, there's like all sorts, you know, sorts of schemes that come and go, you know, and literally some of them are just tick box exercises.
Yeah, I would agree.
You know, so literally this like should be applauded. And again, like the London FA, they are missing. But London FA, I know that you're going to be watching this because I'm going to be sending it to you. You guys have missed a trick here, you know, but it's not too late. It's not too late, man. It's not too late. And again, you guys winning like this kind of competition. What's the future now for Sporting Bengal? Literally now you've kind of reached this amazing milestone.
For our vets, the younger vets in the community who kind of just turning 35, they definitely seen the kind of the cup run and the kind of jubilation that we've had, and they want to be involved because they were also kind of played with a lot of the players. Obviously, they're younger who played in that team, so there's definitely a hunger to get into the team and try to. It's a tough thing to do because we're always underdogs in my opinion, and we always have that mentality. We're not arrogant in any way. If we can try to get as far as again into this competition, it would just cement our kind of or the players' place in like history. Because one thing you said, actually, our community isn't too aware of the mainstream kind of football kind of community or the grassroots community. And this is one of the problems we face as a grassroots club, where one of the culture is not there to go and watch a non-league game, to go and I mean, there's participation is there for Sunday league. If you look at all the stats provided by the FA, Asians play a lot of football. However, it's that next step of getting into mainstream football, coming and supporting a club where the kind of the tendency is to stay at home and stream Premier League or La Liga or whatever. But to go out there on a Saturday and support your grassroots local team, pay to get in, that's another thing. It's not really part of the footballing culture of that part of East London. I'll be honest.
I get it, and probably my final question to you is, what message would you want to give to any young South Asian footballer that's looking to get into the game, or literally may feel a little bit lost in or like slightly disillusioned with the sport?
That's a good question, and I guess it comes down to what their experiences were. But I would always say you need to have strength of character and belief in yourself, because I don't believe it's about quality ultimately. Every community has quality footballers. It's your determination and drive, and how much you want to get out of your comfort zone. So it might be, obviously, Sporting Bengal is there to kind of cater to a community, but you might not get it at Sporting Bengal. You might have to travel. You might have to go and play in North London, play in kind of venues that you're not used to, travel to training on your own. It's how much you want it, because no one's going to help you. There are people there to help you, but ultimately you need to want it. And what I've realized is if you put in the work and show good kind of character and determination, you will get somewhere. So whether your ability is step 5, step 4, or even lower or higher, you can do it. You just need a bit of belief. And there are some role models out there. I mean, we've had players, from our club. We played at step 4. I know there's other Asian players across. I mean, you've got probably most well-known player is Hamza Chowdhury, who's now actually part of the Bangladeshi national team. He's got involved with the national team. So ultimately, he's kind of like our poster boy at the moment. But I think we need to look lower down the leagues and make a dent into the like non-league sector. Like play, there should be like if with the amount of teams that are very kind of around on step 4, step 5, step 6. How many? I'm asking a question. How many Asian players have you seen play? Like it's like there's an Asian player. You'd be surprised to see one, but it should be just normal. No, you're not surprised to see a black player, for example, play for a non-league team. But if you see an Asian player, you might be a bit surprised. That's an Asian player. Well, it's still at that stage where you're surprised to see an Asian player at the mainstream football.
So true. Saeed, thank you so much. Actually, before we go, if people want to know more about Sporting Bengal, where can they find you?
Easiest place is probably social media. Sporting Bengal, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. They're the easiest ways to get in contact, and all our contact details are there.
Great stuff. And I wish you well in this competition. And if my team Catford do get to play Sporting Bengal, I just want to say it's going to be a very tough game for you guys.
Yeah, no doubt. We expect the last game we played was they were actually a good team. Hadley, They're a very solid team. It's just they didn't have the firepower. Otherwise, honestly, every team we've played, it's been a tough game. So it's not been walkovers, and we're expecting it only to get tougher because we're the holders and people want our scalp, as it were. So let's see how it goes.